So, I'm Bridget, and you might know me from Instagram. That seems weird. Hey, I'm Bridget, aka Always August, and I'm really glad you're here. I have been wanting to start a YouTube channel for probably since I was 13 years old, but 13-year-old Bridget didn't have a lot going on. 28-year-old Bridget doesn't have a lot going on, but I thought, what the hell, let's freaking go. So it's 2020. It's a weird year. I'm trying new stuff. I guess this is an intro video or an about me or something. So I'm Bridget and I'm 28 and I currently live in Denver, Colorado. However, I've moved about 36 times in my life. So if you ever ask me where I'm from, I'm just going to say the United States because honestly, I don't really know where I'm from. I'm from everywhere I've ever lived. And no, before you ask, I'm not a military brat. I feel like that's such a derogatory term. Sorry, none of you guys are military brats. None of you guys are brats. Unless that's your Halloween costume. And then, like, you go girl. Anyways, I grew up with a amazing family, and my mom was actually an interior designer when I was first born, and then she transitioned into a house flipper and independent contractor. So that being said, that's why we moved so many times. We would move like every 6 months to a year to a different city or town or state wherever my dad's company had a branch or was chill with him working. So that's why I've moved a million times, and I've had like a crazy slew of random jobs, and before I got married I dated a lot. I have so many stories that I could tell you, and I will probably save those for later dates, but just to name a few, when I was in high school I worked at a tanning salon, and I also worked at a Chinese restaurant, and that one was a weird one. I mean, the tanning salon was weird too. We had lots of like really old white guys coming in to get tans, like biker dudes were trying to get tan before they went on the road with their bros. So that's a little strange, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. That one was a weird one. I actually grew up in a Christian household, and I'm still a Christian. I had like a couple of gap years where I did not know what the hell I was doing, but luckily my parents are not super forceful or intense, and they're actually really amazing and wonderful, and they let me like figure myself out without forcing anything down my throat. So shout out Brad and Kathleen, because y'all are the real MVPs. But like I said, I grew up in a Christian home, and I actually went to private school until 8th grade. And then when I was in 8th grade, we moved to a city that did not have any private schools in the area, so I ended up going to public school, and I was so excited because I was like, hell yeah, public school, I don't have to wear a uniform anymore. The year that I went to public school was the year that that public school district implemented uniforms. I thought I was about to like walk into the set of a teen movie, and I was so excited for getting to wear my own style and fashion, because that was when I was going through like my scene kid emo phase. And y'all, I had like the bangs, I had like the teased up situation, I had the coontail hair extension situation, and you guys, I was so good at eyeshadow, you don't even know. These 13-year-olds on TikTok now have they can't hold a candle to me. I was so good. Just kidding, I was not good. Don't ask me to do your makeup. I pay to have these eyelashes put on my face so I look like I know what I'm doing. Just saying. Anyways, so I went to public school from 8th grade to sophomore year, and then I was homeschooled all of sophomore year because I like did not like public school. It wasn't my vibe, it wasn't my jam. The only thing I liked about it was choir. And when I was homeschooled, I found out they wouldn't let me come to school for choir. So that was an obnoxious year. But during that year, I got my first job when I was 15, and I was a barista at a local coffee shop, which actually burnt down, and we're a little bit, like, everybody in town thought it was because the guy who owned the coffee shop was trying to collect the insurance money, because after the fire, he, like, disappeared. And he wasn't in the fire because it was set at, like, 2 in the morning. So weird, right? don't set your business on fire for insurance money. That's just a tip. Anyways, so where was I? Oh yeah, sophomore year. So yeah, I was homeschooled sophomore year, and then that summer I decided that I wanted to have blonde hair. You guys, the Lord gave me black hair for a reason, because it is what he wanted me to have. So I decided, I had been watching America's Next Top Model, and Tyra was giving all these dark haired girls blonde hair, and I was like, oh hell yeah, that could be me. So I took it upon myself to like book an appointment with the hair person, and I went and got my hair done. Well, I go in there, I tell the lady, I want blonde hair. Oh my God, I can't wait. I need to have platinum blonde hair. And she's like, no worries, I got you, girl. But we're gonna take your hair down like 12 levels in one sitting. And I'm like 17. I've never colored my hair before, like other than to like bleach a random piece of chunk. And I'm like, okay, cool, sounds good. I have no idea what's happening. So I sit there for 12 hours in her chair. And by the end of the day, she rinses my hair out. And you guys, it's like orange, and it's like orange rubber bands on my head. Like she couldn't brush through it without like half of my hair falling off. So I'm sitting there and I'm staring in the mirror at her, and she's staring at me, and we're both just like, holy shit. So we had to cut off all my hair. This was while I was still homeschooled. So we cut off all of my hair, and then I decide, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go back to public school. So I went back to public school looking like Tink. From freaking Hook. If y'all know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know, right? It wasn't a good look for me. I could not pull off a pixie cut then. I mean, I probably couldn't do it now, but I feel like I have more confidence and I know who I am as a person, so like maybe, but when I was 17, it's not a good look for me. So I learned how to do extensions, so that was super fun, and I would literally just wear a beanie and then attach extensions all to my hair, so it would look like this, but it was all fake, because all the rest of my hair was so short, and this weird brown color, it wasn't cute. So all of that happened. That's sophomore, when was that? That was junior year, where my hair is growing out and I look a little bit weird. And then senior year was when I worked at a tanning salon. So I basically turned orange, and you guys, like the color of my bedspread, that is not a natural color for anyone's skin tone. What was I, an Oompa Loompa? Like I was a giant Oompa Loompa. I was tall and orange. Not a good look. So don't go to tanning salons. You don't need it. You look beautiful. Like, rock your skin color. You have that color because you look the best with that color. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So high school, yay, hated it, obviously. But the one thing I did love about it was choir, like I said a bit ago. And I was actually classically trained in opera. And it was kind of like my jam. I loved opera, you know, like hitting them whistle tones. I was a first soprano, so that was super fun. I always got the melody, also super fun. And then whenever we did have the harmony, it was all like these crazy notes, and it was great. I loved every second of it. So I thought I was going to be a music teacher. I really wanted to be a choral director for high school students. Like that was where my passion was, and I was like, oh my God, I'm freaking doing it. But then I ended up going to Bible college, and my Bible college did not have a really good music like degree program, so I stopped doing music like altogether basically. If you ask me to sing, I mean, like I can rock some Amy Winehouse for you, but if you want me to sing in Latin at like a high C, can't do it. Maybe if I practiced a lot, I could probably still sight read, maybe. I don't know. So after all that business, I went to Bible college for 2 years, absolutely hated it, almost got expelled. My sister almost got expelled. Her husband, her now husband, who was her then boyfriend, almost got expelled because we all went to the same college. So they dropped out. Well, they didn't drop out. They just transferred to a different school. And I almost dropped out, but I was like, okay, probably not. I ended up getting my associate's degree, and I moved to California, and I worked at the super amazing nonprofit called the Dream Center. So if you're ever in LA, look them up because you could go serve and it would be a lot of fun. But I worked at the Dream Center for a few years, and then I moved back to Texas, and I worked as a barista and at a French bakery, which was super fun. And I did that for like maybe a year, And then I moved to Redding, in Northern California, and I worked for the record label Bethel Music. So if you're in the Christian spirit at all, like, you know what Bethel is. And it wasn't my favorite time in my life. It was actually an incredibly difficult time. I was dealing with like really intense anxiety and depression, but I didn't know it. So I was just like super angry and sad and upset all the time. And I just, y'all, the people who lived with me, they are saints, because I was like literally going crazy during that season of my life. I worked at Bethel for like a year, and then I got some like crazy health issues and decided that I was going to move back to Dallas because I needed to have like a surgery. And okay, I'll tell you what it is. I broke my tailbone. So I'll save you all the gnarly details, but basically I broke my tailbone, and it was really like, it caused a lot of trauma to my butt. Like I don't know, your tailbone's kind of like this, like it caused trauma, and my tailbone was like poking like that. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. It was very uncomfortable. I could barely sit, and I couldn't lay on my back or anything. Anyways, so I had to go get surgery for that, and I decided I was just gonna go ahead and quit my job because I really wasn't like, I wasn't thriving. I was having a really hard season, and I just wanted to be by my mom. I left Redding and I moved back to Texas to live with my family for a little while, and I got surgery, and the surgery that was supposed to be like a 3-week healing process turned into a 3-month healing process. And through that whole time, I was like literally bedridden, and I had to lay on my stomach because I had had surgery on my freaking tailbone. So I was going through like a lot of depression then, which was like so obnoxious, because if you've ever had depression, like, it totally crushes your whole life. It's very frustrating. Anyways, so I was going through all of that, and while I was there, I actually like, it actually ended up being a really, really, really important season for me, because I was in this headspace and I totally thought I was going to move to Nashville or move back to Los Angeles, but that is not what happened. The Lord did not want me to do that. And the whole time, basically, like, I watched a lot of Criminal Minds, and I watched a lot of Rizzolian Isles, and that did not help with my depression. So after a couple of weeks of like being really, really sad, I ended up just deciding that I was gonna fast TV until the rest of my healing was done. And I read a lot of books, and I spent a lot of time like hanging out with Jesus and talking to him. And I really felt that he wanted me to stay in Texas for a while. So I ended up staying in Texas, and I got a job as a telemarketer. Do not get a job as a telemarketer. I'm not freaking kidding you. I went home every day like crying my eyes out because people are mean. Don't do it. I also worked at a bakery, like a cookie bakery, and if you live in Dallas, you know it. It's called Joy. It was real good. We had some good macaroon. But so I did that for a while, and I did not enjoy it. And I ended up looking for I enjoyed Joy, but I did that like around the same time as the telemarketing gig. And I decided that I was gonna find another job. So I ended up working at a co-working space called Common Desk, which, shout out Common Desk, because they're freaking kicking ass, and it was a really awesome job. And my boss there was amazing, and the CEO of the company is just like a total winner. And yeah, it was awesome. I loved working there. But when I was working there, it was like in 2017, and you guys, in 2017, I also was a Bumble rep for Dallas, like the city of Dallas. So basically I would get paid money to go to events and look cute and like flirt with guys, so that way they would sign up for Bumble and use the app. LOL. But it was enough money to like put a little extra in my pocket so I could go to Free People and shop on the weekends, which, like, hello, if you shop at Free People, you know that you need that extra cash to shop there, because y'all, it's expensive. So I did that for most of 2017, and I also just dated a lot because I hadn't dated for a really long time. And this is another story for another day, but I basically did a 3-year dating fast out of all of that time. And I hadn't really like dated in the real world, like outside of a Christian bubble. So I took it upon myself to say yes to every single guy that asked me on like an actual date on Bumble. And I did that for like 3 months, and it was so bad. It was awful. It was awful. There was like 2 nice guys out of the whole experience, and I probably went on like 30 dates. Like, that's why people don't like internet dating, because people on the internet are crazy. I'm sure those guys thought that the same thing about me. I'm 100% a lunatic. So no offense taken here. But I did that during 2017 when I was working at the co-working space. And in the fall, I had started like kind of talking to this one guy. It really wasn't working out super well. He was kind of like a jerk. So I ended up breaking up with him, and I got back on Bumble, and that's when I met my husband, Taylor. But I remember being at coffee with my friend Samantha, and we were like talking, you know, like girls do, like, oh my god, like, who are you talking to anybody? Like, blah, 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 whatever. And I was telling her, I was like, oh yeah, I swiped on this super cute guy, and I was showing her his profile, and I had been creeping real hard. So I showed her like his Instagram, and while I was sitting there with her, he messaged me, and I was like, hey, if you want to take me on a date, like, give me a call. I'm with my friend right now. Here's my phone number. You can call me in like 2 hours when I'm driving home. So he called me, and he asked me out for coffee, and we got coffee the next morning, and that was on November 18th, 2017. So on November 18th, 2017 was the day that I met my future husband. But we were both like, he was 26, I was 25, and I was like, hey bro, like, I've been dating a lot, like, I really know what I'm looking for. How are you feeling? Like, where are you at? And he was like, yeah, I'm in the same boat. So basically we decided to start dating exclusively on the day that we met in person. Granted, we had met on the internet the day before, so it happened a little fast. But we started dating exclusively, and it was basically like this agreement, like, hey, we're just gonna date, and we're gonna keep dating until we either decide to stop dating or we decide to like put a ring on it and make it official. And we just kept dating, and we really liked each other, and then we fell in love, and we got engaged 6 months after we had started dating. So we started dating November 18th, and he proposed to me on May 31st. So during that time, we had really been praying, like, where did the Lord want us to go? And we really felt like he wanted us to go to Georgia. And so we basically got engaged and then decided to get married 3 months later because we needed to move to Georgia and we wanted to be married first. So we got married and we went on our honeymoon, and we moved to Georgia the day after we got back from our honeymoon. And then we lived in Georgia for like 2.5 years working for this like small startup film production company, because, you know, Georgia's like the state of film. And we did that, and it wasn't my vibe. I worked in the costume department, which was actually really, really cool, but I cannot do set life, y'all. I can't like stay up till 6 o'clock in the morning every day working. Like, my brain just does not function that way. It was so much for me to handle. Taylor loved it. He totally thrived, and it was awesome for him. So he's still doing film and video, because he's literally been doing film and video since, I don't know, he was like 18, because he's so freaking good at it. And now we moved here and we live in Colorado, and I work in the hemp industry, which is so weird. But yeah, I work in the hemp industry, and I'm a social media manager and influence manager. So basically I sit on Instagram and I pay people money to post on their social media about the company that I work for. Just so weird. So here we are, and that's a little bit about me. It was a lot of talking, and there are so many stories in between all of the things that I told you, but that's just like a little overview. And if you have questions or comments or concerns or opinions or whatever, feel free to let me know. But like, don't be a dick, you know? Be kind. And I'm gonna leave you guys with that. So yeah, love you. Bye. Actually, that can't be my exit. Love you guys. Bye.